Hello, my name is Nettie Stevens. I know you may have never heard of me, but I did some really important work that I want to share with you today. I was a special kind of scientist called a geneticist. That is someone who studies genes and how they impact the traits we have. No, not the sort of genes you wear, the genes that are inside of you. Back when I was studying genes, there was a lot we didn't know. It was the early 1900s, and not many women were doing science. Most were staying home and tending to families. But I knew I was destined for something different. I was born in 1861 in Vermont. My father was a carpenter, and I learned early the value of hard work. Knowing how to work hard helped me as I attended Stanford University in California while teaching to keep my mind and body fed. It was at Stanford that I first developed a love for genetics. It seemed like a great puzzle. I wanted to learn more about this puzzle, so I moved back to the East Coast to get my PhD at Bryn Mawr College. A PhD meant that I was a doctor in my field, not the kind of doctor you see when you are sick, but the kind that has become a real expert in their field of work. It took a long time to get there, but at age 41, I had my degree and was ready to put it to use. You know that big puzzle I mentioned? Well, at the time of my work, the biggest puzzle of all was what determined if a person was born a boy or a girl. There were lots of theories floating around. Some thought it had to do with the foods a mother ate or how warm she was. There were a lot of unknowns, but I just knew there must be something locked away in those tiny things we called genes that would give us the answer. So I decided what better place to start than with mealworms. I know. What do bugs have to do with humans? But turns out, when it comes to chromosomes, we have a lot in common. Scientists would come to learn more in the future about chromosomes and how they work as a blueprint for who we come to be. But my big finding was all about two little letters, X and Y. See, I found that all males had chromosomes that were shaped like an X and a Y, while females had two X shapes. As I continued to study insects, I kept finding this same pattern. In 1905, I was ready to change the world. I published a two-part book on my findings. The problem was, no one wanted to listen. Maybe it was because I was a woman at a time when women were not expected to have all of the answers. Maybe it was because people were more willing to believe in variables they could see, like the food they eat, rather than tiny microscopic genes. But the world just wasn't ready for me. An advisor on my project, Edmund Wilson, tried to publish the findings for himself and take away my credit, but people still struggled to listen. When I died in 1912, my work was still being overlooked. I didn't live to see the day when the world caught up to me and I was proven right. Modern-day scientists understand, though. They see my efforts as the groundbreaking work it truly was. I laid the foundation for future generations to better understand not just what determines if someone is born male or female, but also so much more about genetics, inherited traits, and health. Thanks to my work, you don't have to have a PhD to understand and apply the science of genetics. I have a feeling with a lesson or two, you will be somewhat of an expert too.